Presque Isle has become quite famous for the incredible hospitality they provide us. The whole town turned out to see us, asking questions about the aircraft, offering their thanks for what we were doing. Many of those people really knew a lot about the history of their town. Even the younger generations knew quite a lot about it.
The stories of the DC-3 in the war were legendary. Prior to the Second World War, Douglas had produced 570 DC-3s for global carriers. And then all of a sudden it was wartime production for what's called C-47s for the US Air Force. And they had to start producing them not only at Santa Monica, where they were originally built, they also had a plant in Long Beach, California, and then they also had another plant in Oklahoma. At the peak of production, they were producing DC-3s of one every 40 minutes. At the Douglas plants, just over 50% of the employees were women. So there was women producing DC-3s at the rate of one every 40 minutes. They needed literally thousands and thousands of these aircraft because the DC-3 enabled them to move troops, ammunition, supplies. It could land anywhere. It can get out of any sort of situation. It could take enormous punishment. It was really what the World War II, the success of, was built around, the transportation. They sent literally thousands to Europe.
It was the United States supplying men and material to the European theater, and a lot of that was delivered along the Blue Spruce route.
That was basically the route from Presque Isle to Goose Bay, to Greenland, to Iceland, Scotland.
All traffic coming out of North America went through Presque Isle.
The town's economy was really built up around that whole operation during World War II. So many people in that area who were familiar with the DC-3, the history of the DC-3. People during the war that were relatives and ancestors involved in this whole process. So it was a very meaningful thing both for us and for the people of Presque Isle.
These aircraft are the ones that were coming in and out of Presque Isle. Many of the aircraft in the squadron would have routed through Presque Isle. We are flying the same airplanes along the same route, visiting the same aerodromes. This is quite atmospheric.
That was the first up-close and personal big crowd that we had around the airplane, and these people were just hugely enthusiastic. Turned out to be a very, very positive experience. Met some nice people there.
Very good.
The next day we left from Presque Isle to go to Goose Bay.
Relatively short leg, just over 2.5 hours. We were IFR on that leg. International flight plan for border crossing into Canadian airspace. Instrument approach into Goose Bay, a little bit of ice. The weather was
windy, raining, low clouds, bumpy, wet.
It wasn't great, right?
It was what we expected.
Number 8336 Charlie, Tower, good day, Windsor 220 at 12, altimeter 3011, number 1, runway 26.
36 Charlie, front.
36 Charlie, roger, clear to land, runway 26.
Clear to land 26 for 36 Charlie. Looks good.
We were, again, traveling as a group of the D-Day squadron.
Nice work, man. That was like a legit Goose Bay arrival.
Fuel upon arrival. We picked up our life rafts as we're intending a relatively early launch the following morning.
Thank you so much.
No problem.
Okay.
Good evening, aviators! For those just arriving, welcome to rainy Goose Bay. Rich in history, still buzzing with adventure. For those crossing the North Atlantic, this is the final stretch of land before Greenland, the last taste of home. Stay tuned!
We are getting into some serious country now.
The real benefit was the kind of group preparation for the flights.
The D-Day squadron had negotiated some weather forecasting and support for us en route.
So we had a meeting and a conference call with our weather briefing company. And during that conference call, they gave us what they thought the forecast was going to be. They were predicting heavy icing. So this became a point of great concern.
They're talking about some fairly serious quantity of icing, the kind of icing that I would think twice about launching into that kind of icing.
All of us were looking at information from similar providers.
Well, I was starting to see some conflict with what we were being told in the weather forecast. When compared to the apps that we use day by day, the apps are showing that yes, there's going to be a little bit of icing, but not for as long. It isn't going to be as severe. It's going to be much more clearly defined. It was a smaller area that was going to be causing ice. We kind of take the crew members aside here. We huddle and talk about this situation and come up with this plan that we are going to depart the following morning based on the forecast from the apps rather than the telephone forecast. So we were going to depart first.
Because we had de-icing equipment.
We're IFR certified, we had de-ice equipment, we had satellite communication. So the plan was that we were going to poke our nose into this stuff, see how bad it was, and then report back with real-time reports for the rest of the squadron.
And if it got too bad, we would be able to radio back and tell the rest of the group, and they would then be able to make their decisions accordingly. And if we had to turn around, we had the equipment to get back safely.
We left Goose Bay early in the morning. When you're planning a departure from somewhere, it's not just about the departure. We also need to be able to guarantee a return. If we have a mechanical issue within the first few hours of that leg, we need to be able to turn around and come back. Once we get to Goose Bay, the luxury of having dozens of different airfields within a few minutes of us is starting to ebb away. Goose Bay is relatively remote, and the next appropriate landing field is a while away. We calculate what we call an equal time point. If we are going from A to B, if we lose an engine at any point along that leg, we need to be able to quickly calculate what is our best option. Do we turn around and go back to Goose Bay, or do we continue on to Narsarsuaq? The alternate is the weather, once we got out over the water, wasn't too bad. The conditions in Narsarsuaq were not too bad for Narsarsuaq, but the weather conditions in and around the Goose Bay area were the focus point for the planning and discussion.
System test. Okay. 8336 Charlie, taxi.
We
double check, make sure our de-icing systems are actually working. We're trying to make sure that we're not going to encounter an issue accumulating ice and either can't see or airspeed is going to become a problem. Make sure the aircraft is truly ready.
November 8336 Charlie, cleared for takeoff, runway 15, good flight.
Clear for takeoff, 15, thank you. Me too. Okay. Your throttles, my throttles. Positive rate, you're up.
November 8336 Charlie, Andrew Center, good morning, you are identified.
So we took off and flew out to where the icing was forecast to start. We got the ice just when they thought we were going to get it. The ice was light. It wasn't really a threat. After we got through the ice, we actually had very nice weather. So that plan worked well.
Nick, did you message them that we're off?
Yes.
Okay, great.
It's a long leg, just under 5 hours, so there's plenty of time to reflect on what has gone before and what's going on at that time. We're all sitting there fairly focused on engine indications. How does it sound? How does it feel? Has something changed? You're drawing on all of your senses at that point.
We noticed that the left fuel boost pump wasn't producing pressure like we would expect. So as soon as we made it to England to change out the fuel boost pump.
We'd had great conditions over the water leg, but as we approached the west coast of Greenland, we could see that the forecasts were accurate and that there were some low cloud layers.
Sassenach is an interesting airport because it's at the east end of a fjord that splits just before you get to the airport. And from the area where the fjord splits, you can't actually see the airport. You need to go to the left as soon as you go a little ways, and the airport will come into view. Because the weather was good, we decided to make a visual approach up the fjord. When we got just to the point of the split, it was all fogged in.